Support Pro Play Games on Patreon.
How's it going, guys? Brito here with PPG doing another deck profile. Today's going to be security control, but with somewhat of a different tech choice. I really enjoy getting security control and just building my own list with like alternate win conditions. And for this one, it's going to be I've included cards to help me deck out my opponent, so it kind of accelerates the game plan to grind out your opponent and just have them deck out. So without further ado, let me get into it. So let's start off with the eggs, starting with 4 Demi Meramons. Just pull them out right here. 4 Demi Meramons. This egg is pretty much to help you with have a purple base. I'll have access to all my purple cards, all my purple options whenever I want, as well as having the inheritable on deletion trigger, draw 1 and then trash 1, so it helps me cycle out through my hands. You'll see how this comes up a little bit more now with the rookies. The rookies, it will be 4 Guillemon from EX3. So for this one, on deletion, delete one of my opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. If no Digimon were deleted by this effect, both players trash the top 2 cards of their deck. Yes, this also ends up trashing your deck as well, but oftentimes since you're on the reactive, you're not really drawing into too much cards as opposed to your opponent drawing more cards than you are. So you're always gonna plus with the milling, as well as this also being a red source, so this helps you have the red source for certain options. Another way you can use this card is, for example, let's say they have a few guys out on the field, like let's say a few rookies. You can use this to pop one of them, or even perhaps swing over one and then delete them to pop the other guy. So this helps out with control as well as milling your opponent. So I run 4 of the EX3 Guillemons. For the other 2 level 3s that I run, only 2 other ones, I run 2 of the BT4 Lucimons. First off, while you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you can reduce the play cost of this Lucimon by 8, so it's essentially just a 5-drop. And then it has on play, recover 1. So you can essentially just pay 5, play this, and recover 1 card from your deck. This card is really, really good in my opinion. I really like this card. It has another effect that all turns this Digimon can only Digivolve into a Digimon with Lucimon in their names. So you'll see now that I do run the other Lucimon Chaos Mode. So yeah, I run 2 of the BT7 Lucimon Chaos Modes. He has a similar effect that for every 10 cards in your trash, his cost is reduced by 3. So oftentimes you might be playing him for 8 or 5. And then his on-play effect is you could delete one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, Digimon level 6 or lower, or one of their Tamers. There have been a bunch of times where I've gone against Crossheart, and I literally could just play this card, pop their Tamer with all the sources underneath with like when they save. Another thing you can do is you can evolve onto your yellow Lucimon for a cost of 7, and then you also get the when Digivolving effect to delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon and or a Tamer. Alright, so yeah, this combos up pretty well with this list. So yeah, 2 of these Lucimons. Then for a security control staple, 4 Magna Angemons. Simply put, play for 7, recover 1. On play, recover 1 from your deck. This guy is kind of essential for security control because you always want as many options as you can to just recover. Its inheritable is also pretty nice. This Digimon gains 1000 DP for every 3 cards in the security you have. Sometimes gaining that 1 extra 1000 or 2000 DP really helps out a lot with swinging either over Digimon or just swinging safely at security. So yeah, this is kind of a must-have in just about every security control list. For another somewhat of security control staple is Ophanimon Fall Down mode. It does have the alternate evo condition that it evolves for 2 over an Ophanimon, but oftentimes like most security control lists don't really run other Ophanimons. Some do, some don't. This one I do not. So for this one, it's when Digivolving, if this Digimon has a purple card in its Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. If this Digimon has a yellow card in its Digivolution cards, recover 1. So there will be some times where you have your BT4 Lucamon out, and you might have evoed for 7 to pop one of their guys. You could then afterwards evo on top, and then you meet the when digivolving requirements. Oftentimes you just evo on top of Magna Angemon to get the recover one, but you also, with this combo, you also have this combo available to you. Alright, it also has Funimon Fall Down mode, also has on deletion, you may play one purple yellow level 4 or lower Digimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. Your only targets in this deck is either the Lucamon or the Guilmon. Oftentimes, if you have the Lucamon in trash, you opt to go into that. Most of the time, though, you'll probably just go for the Guilmon. Alright. So now, for the kind of tech choice for this deck, Creepymon. He evos on top of pretty much only Lucamon, so sometimes you might not have him, sometimes you might not need him, but he's just essentially accelerate the mill game win condition. So yeah, when digivolving, trash the top 2 cards of your deck for each of your opponent's Digimon in play. If you trash 4 or more cards from this effect, you may play one level 5 or lower purple Digimon card from the trash without paying its memory cost. That doesn't come up too often in this deck, because mainly you're using them for his when attacking effect. When attacking, once per turn, for every 10 cards in your trash the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, and this Digimon gets 3000 DP for the turn. So oftentimes you evo on top of a Lucamon, you swing, you mill 3 to 6, maybe even 9 cards depending on how late the game is. Like I mentioned, he helps accelerate the win condition to deck out your opponent to grind him out to the end of the game. So he accelerates that. Then, finally, for the level 7s, the obligatory Death Exmon. So yeah, this is kind of a staple in just about every deck now, pretty much for the past few formats, and probably for the next few formats coming up. So this card, when this card will be played, reduce its play cost for 3 for every Digimon and Tamer your opponent has in play. Then on play, when digivolving, de-digivolve 1 to all your opponent's Digimon, then delete all your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. End of opponent's turn, once per turn, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. This card is pretty much really good for, let's say you're falling a little behind, your opponent built a wide board or has a bunch of Tamers. You drop this for very cheap. You never drop this for the full 20 cost, you just drop this for, let's say, 8 to 5, maybe even for free sometimes, and it pretty much clears most of your opponent's board. Sometimes if they have a level 6 out, you won't be able to clear that, but you do de-digivolve it and then delete all their level 4 lower Digimon. So this card is really good to help control your opponent's board in this list. Alright, that is it for the Digimon, and now for the Tamers, I run 2 of the Kamiya's. It's essentially a 4-drop for Memory Fixer, and then your turn, when a card is added to your security stack, you may suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory. So she, after you play her, after that, her value is not only Memory Fixer, setting you to 3, but every time you heal, you can tap her to gain a memory. So she essentially makes your Magna Angemons 1 cheaper, she makes your Lucamons 1 cheaper, she makes all your heal options just 1 memory cheaper. So if you have both of them out, great, now you have, now you gain 2 memory off every time you heal. So yeah, she's really good in just about every security control list. The next Tamer I run is 2 TK and Kari's, TK Takashi and Kari Kamiya. So at the start of your turn, if you have fewer security cards than your opponent, you gain 2 memory. Then on your turn, when one of your yellow Digimon attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to have one of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1000 DP for the turn. So oftentimes this card is out when your opponent gets a little too aggressive and you start getting less security than they have, which honestly, oftentimes it happens a lot. This just gains you more memory at the start of your turn. So instead of starting at 3, you start at 5 or even 7. There's other times where I have the Magna Angemon out and they have a rookie out, so I just swing with the Magna Angemon, tap 1 or 2 of these, and I minus DP the rookie to essentially delete it. This card has gained me a lot of value, especially with the memory gaining. So yeah, love this card. The other I run 2 of a Tai Kamiya, and a Kari Kamiya. So at the start of the turn, if you have 3 or fewer security, I gain a memory. If your opponent has 3 or fewer security, I gain a memory. Or you gain a memory. So start of turn, this one oftentimes in late game is when it gains you the most value. So yeah. Also on your turn, when one of your red or yellow Digimon attacks, you may suspend this tamer. And have all your opponent's security Digimon get minus 2k DP for the turn. So this helps you swing at security safely. It's essentially just lowers the DP. So I run 2 of the Tai Kamiyas, and then I run 1 TK Takashi. He's another memory fixer, and on top of that he has on play. Look at your security and reveal 1 card in it and add it to your hand. If that card was a yellow card, recover 1. So he is really to on play. You look at your security, your main targets to look for are pretty much either any yellow tamers or Magna Angemons. You prefer to have those, oftentimes you prefer to have the Magna Angemon in your hands. You want to keep all your options, all your yellow options in your security. The only ones you want to grab is Magna Angemon and maybe one of your tamers. So yeah, one of a TK. Since my deck tends to run a lot of non-yellow cards, this card tends to... It could neg you as long as you play this at the right time. You don't want to run too many of these guys. You want to have just one is just fine to just grab the Magna Angemons. Then for the last tamer, I run the purple Matashita from BT2. He's another memory fixer. If you have 2 or less memory, set your memory to 3. But his main usage is on play, return 1 purple Digimon card or 1 purple option from your trash to your hand. He's pretty much to help you recur certain options or even Digimon from your trash to your hand. So yeah, he's good for that. Now for the options, we run 4 of the security control staple, Chaos Degradation. So this is probably one of the best control options in all of Digimon currently. Its main effect is place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the top or bottom of your opponent's security stack. If you do, trash the top card of the security stack. Oftentimes you want to do this to take their big body on board, like let's say they have level 6, you play it, you oftentimes want to put it at the bottom of the security stack to trash the top card. You want to be able to know as much information as you can about the security, so putting it at the bottom to trash the top is probably best because the top could be an option that could kill you, it could be a tamer that you don't want them to have when you swing. So that's often what you want to do. There's some plays where you do want to put it at the top of security, but most of the time you want to put it at the bottom. And then its security effect, when it sits in its hidden security, you may place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the top or bottom of the owner's security stack. So the security effect is like the main effect, but you don't get to trash the top card of the security stack. So for this one, you got to think it through a little bit more. Sometimes you want to put it at the bottom, sometimes you want to put it at the top, so you can confirm one of your Digimon's deaths at the next turn. For example, the level 3 Guilmon. Alright, so I run 4 of Chaos Degradations. For the next options, for the next few options, you're going to see that it's security control staples. So yeah, Flame Hell Scythe, it's a 6-drop, and main effect, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn. Then you may play 1 purple or yellow Digimon card with 6,000 DP or less from your trash without paying its memory cost. Oftentimes you want to do this to kill one of their level 4s or rookies, and then play the Magna Angemon. Magna Angemon is the only level 5 you run in your list that has 6,000 DP or less, as well as Guilmon. So oftentimes you use this card to play your Magna Angemon to get the on-play recover one. Security effect is just activate its main effect, so same thing. You use it to pop one of your opponent's champions or lower, and then you just play your Magna Angemon to recover one. Yeah. Alright, and then for another security control staple is Holy Wave. Holy Wave is a 6 memory to play, and then main effect trigger, recover 1. It's as simple as that. You just use this to recover 1 card. Oftentimes you pass turn by doing this, but sometimes that's all you really need. Its security effect is just activate main effect, so even when it gets hit in security, you just recover 1. And then for the next 2 options, 2 Wyvern's Breaths. Main effect is one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 15,000 TP for the turn. Security effect is just activate the main effect. Oftentimes you do this to delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower, or even 7s, level 7s. So my favorite targets to use for these are, for example, any of the Greymons that currently have like the X antibody protection, so you can't, like, if you kill it with one of your kill options, they don't die, but if you minus DP it, they can't protect themselves from that. So oftentimes these are for your Greymon targets. They kill just about anything else either, as well. So yeah, 2 of Wyvern's Breaths. The next 2 options are probably one of my favorite options to come out in recent times. So yeah, Lante Atastaco. So there's an 8-drop yellow option. While you have a Pulsemon or a Digimon with Pulsemon in its name of Digivolution cards, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. As you saw, we don't run any Pulsemons, so that effect is irrelevant to this list. But the main effect is what's really broken about this card. If you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 DP for the turn. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the top of their security. So the magic number in your security for this card is 3 in your security. If you get 3 in your security, if you have 3 cards in your security stack, you get both effects: the minus 12,000 and the adding the top card, adding a Digimon to the top of your opponent's security. So oftentimes when you're at 3 or up, this rarely kills a level 6, but when you're at 3 or fewer, it pretty much could save you the game. And if you're at 3, perfect, you get both effects, you clear 2 bodies off the board. I love this card's great. Alright, and now for the other options, I run 2 of Dead or Alive. 2 of Dead or Alive, its main effect is play a purple level 5 Digimon card from the trash without paying its memory cost. If there are 10 or more cards in your trash, you may play 1 Digimon card with Lusamon in its name without paying its memory cost. The idea behind this card is to pretty much either play your Lusamon from the trash for super cheap, the Lusamon Chaos Mode, or if it gets hit in security, you bring out your Lusamon Chaos Mode late game to pop one of their Digimon or one of their Tamers. And then late game as well, you're probably going to have more than 10 cards in trash. You could also target your yellow Lusamon, the BT40 Lusamon, to just recover 1. So this card is coming to clutch plenty of times, but if it gets hit in security early game, chances are it's a whiff. Still, love this card. This card's great. For the next option, the 1 of Reinforced Memory Boost. This card was limited to 1 a long time ago, and it's kind of obvious why. Its main effect is reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, place 1 of them at the top of your security face down, add the remaining cards to your hand. Then place this card in the battle area. And then its delay effect is gain 3 memory. So this is essentially just a better version of Holy Wave. For 6 memory, you get to choose which out of 2 cards to recover, and then you just add the rest to your hand. This card is great. Next option, Fly Bullets. Its main effect is delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. That's pretty much it. It just pops a level 6 or lower. If it gets into security, great. If you hard play this, it's only a 7 cost. It's not that big. It's perfect. The 1 of Calling from Darkness. Main effect, delete one of your Digimon, then return up to 2 purple Digimon from the trash to your hand. This card just helps you recur some of the purple Digimon cards that are in your trash. Sometimes you might want to bring up Lusamon Chaos Mode to your hand. Oftentimes you either want to bring up Guilmon or Death X to your hand. And then for the last 3 options, I run 2 of Crimson Blaze. Crimson Blaze is a really good wide removal option. It's reduce the memory cost of this card by your hand, in your hand by 1 for each of your opponent's Digimon cards in play. Then its main effect is delete all your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. And then the best part about this card is your opponent can't play Digimon by effects until the end of their next turn. So there's a lot of meta decks nowadays that they play Digimon through card effects. Let's say the main big 2 are Bloomlord and Cross Hearts. They usually play Digimon through effects. This can help stop that for a turn. So yeah, this card really good for wide removal and to stop their plays for that turn. Then the last option card is Gaia Force. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Main effect, same thing. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Simply put, anything that's on the board, any Digimon that's on the board, it gets dead. Yeah, so the reason why we only run 3 red Digimon cards, because we don't have, red option cards, is because we only have 4 of the Guillemons and 2 of the Tai and Kari tamers. So there's not too many times where you can play this from your hand. So less of these are better. All right, that's my security control deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget, stay topping.